several decades, we understand now very clearly that if we bring our attention and intention into that thought, we start to focus our energy on it. And even more so, we're understanding now that these three components, if we add these components to the intention, then it helps that to come into the world with much more force. And those components are the mental, the emotional, and the physical. Some might even add in the spiritual, but I'm going to suggest that is going to have a place when I talk about the other way to create. So, again, the secret, absolutely detailed this way of creation. And it works. It absolutely works. There's just one problem. When we create in this way, it doesn't matter what you create. You are also creating its opposite. Can you understand that? The mind is a polarized instrument. If you're using the mind to create whatever you bring your attention and intention into, if you do it following this pathway, you will bring that into creation. What you don't realize, what quite often surprises us, is that we're also creating the opposite. And we never saw that coming because we don't understand we're creating in polarity. Are you hearing me? So let's just do a little example. Supposing all of us come together and agree as a group at this moment in time to use our thoughts, our logic, our attention and intention in the mental, emotional, and physical realms to create peace. Would we be the first ones to ever do that? Hardly. How come it hasn't worked? Quite simply, it's because we brought all of that energy into peace, and what we misunderstood was that we were also creating its opposite. I want each of you, over time after this discussion, to just spend some time ruminating over that and think about in your own lives, has that ever shown itself to you where you've put all your effort into one thing and then you're surprised that at some point the opposite also appears? The same is true in reverse. If a group of people come together and they spend time and energy and thought into creating something other than peace, say its opposite, unbeknownst to them, they're also creating peace. It's how it must work. Polarity is polarity. Whatever you create, you'll create its opposite. So, the world that we live in is always striving for balance of some sort. The problem is, when we're creating from the mind has a way of wanting to be in control. The mind really is a product of the ego. And the ego is not sustainable. When we're creating from that place, sooner or later we create destruction of life itself. So that's just a little outline of creating from the brain. This is an image of the war that takes place within us. What are we looking at? We're looking at the individual seeking balance. Where can that balance come from? In this image, we have the image of the brain on one side of the scale and the image of the heart on the other side. And so this is the war. This is the battle that we represent. And as above, so below. As within, so without. If we have this war within us, it must be expressed. If it's within, it must be expressed without. If it's below, it must be expressed above. And all the other permeations. Right, so this is a book. It's a book called Living in the Heart.
This is where I get to singing a song about living in the heart. Oh no, you don't want me to go there.
I would love you to. Okay. So this little book you can read easily in an afternoon. And it's the journey of a person I've been connected to since 1997, a man named Drunvalo Melchizedek. For how many of you is that a new name? Oh, less than a dozen, so clearly. When I first connected to Drunvalo, if we'd ask a room full of people that question, it would have been lucky to get one hand up. But since then, something that this person brought into the world, and actually a number of things, have entered the stream of consciousness.